I'm Patrick Bateman.
Hi. So today I wanted to talk about the movie American Psycho. Now, this is my very first time ever watching the movie. I've never watched it before. I've just always known about it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm going to talk about how I feel about the movie and everything like that. For starters, Patrick Bateman is absolutely insane. I was going to say psycho, but I felt like it was too on the nose. I just want to say that after I finished watching the movie, I have walked away thinking that this was all just in his head. Now, I've seen online, because of course, after watching this movie, I run to Reddit, because I'm like, what? What did this ending mean? I go to Google it, and it seems like there are two different sides. Some people say that he actually did the murders and things like that, and then there are people who are like, okay, it was all in his mind. I happen to fall in that side. Now, I know some people were trying to say like, oh, if he clearly did all of that stuff, but I'm going to tell you why I don't think that really works at all. So, for the people who say it was not all in his head and that he actually did these things, what happened to the bodies? Now, I saw some people saying that the realtor or the person trying to sell the apartment got rid of the bodies and cleaned it all up so they could show the apartment in time, but I don't believe that. That just kind of sounds too unrealistic. I mean, I know it's a movie, so it's unrealistic, but it's almost too unrealistic. In what world is a realtor going to clean dead bodies? Not just one. Like, if it was one, okay, maybe, but not two, three. It was like 4 or 5 dead bodies in that house. Then on top of it, it's like blood splatter everywhere, and I guess you could argue like, oh, they painted over it. That just seems too unrealistic. So you managed to move 5 bodies and nobody noticed. Nobody noticed whatsoever that you moved 5 bodies from an apartment building and blood splatter and things like that, and nobody said anything. That doesn't make sense to me. Another reason why I think it was all in his head is like the chainsaw. I know, what apartment can someone use a whole chainsaw without people noticing? Or when he's running in the hallway buck naked, like he's completely naked, covered in blood, with a chainsaw, running after a woman, screaming and beating on doors. That just seems unrealistic to me. I just don't see where that would like make sense or like be normal. And I saw some people say that it was like, oh, that's because people don't pay attention to each other and notice each other. Even if you don't notice everybody by name, you would notice a psycho next door sometimes. Not all the time. Clearly not all the time in real life. I also think it's fake because there was a point where he was dragging the body to the taxi cab and it was like a big blood trail. And so I really do believe it was all in his mind. I think he was just having some type of psychotic episode or something, and it all was in his mind the whole time. Obviously, the infamous scene where he's shooting at the cop and it just turns into like an explosion and he looks at his own gun almost like, what is going on? I think that further proves that this was just in his mind. The ATM saying, feed me the cat, and him, like, that was comical when he bust the gun out on the cat. I was like, you gonna shoot the cat? Then he shot the old lady, he shot the concierge, shooting at the police, and no one ever caught him. That's unrealistic. So that's why I think it just was kind of all in his head this whole time. It's sick and twisted that he would be thinking about such disgusting things, but people do that. I don't know anyone like that, hopefully, but people do that. And even the ending when the lawyer is basically saying he doesn't know him, and Patrick is like, you know me, and like, I killed Paul Allen. And he's like, I just saw Paul Allen, so you couldn't have killed him. I think that just further proved that like this was all in his mind. The drawings, I think he didn't actually do those things, more like fantasized about it. And I think that, to me, that's what I felt like the ending was trying to say, essentially. Is he in trouble for fantasizing or thinking this way? And I also, it's a weird part of me that's worried that when people watch this movie, or back then probably when they watched it, because this movie is made in 2000, I think, that they'll connect with that character and also feel like, yeah, I wanted to do this to people too. Like, no. I've been irritated at people. I've never fantasized about actually, taking somebody out. So that's pretty weird. So yeah, let's not do that. I also think it's interesting that this movie was made in 2000, so there was such emphasis on his routine and how much he cared for his skin. He was using a face mask, he used a sugar scrub, and they emphasized it so much. And in my thought process is that maybe in the 2000s, it was like so like, oh, dudes don't care about their skin and they don't care about skincare and things like that. Versus today, there are more men now, I would say, who, do facial masks and things like that. So it's not too crazy. But back then, it probably was pretty obscene. So Patrick Bateman's character, he pretends to care about social issues when he really doesn't feel that way. And I think that was a bit of commentary maybe on a lot of people back then, they would say these things or maybe rehearse, they just know what's the right thing to say and say it versus actually feeling that way. Overall, though, I would say when I watched this movie, there was a moment where I just kind of found myself okay, it's this guy killing women, prostitutes, homeless people. It just kind of made me go, okay, that happens in real life, so it wasn't really fantasy or so to speak, and I wasn't that interested. There were some interesting parts, like the woman he was having an affair with, Pumpkin. I was kind of interested, maybe they would dive into that. They didn't really, though. And then I was kind of interested when I was watching him, it was interesting watching him unravel and then the realization that this was all fake. But I think even the SWAT team and helicopters and all that kind of made it pretty clear that it was fake from the jump. Overall, I actually wouldn't recommend this movie to anybody because I just kind of don't really feel like it. I mean, it probably served its purpose at the time, but we're in a new day and age. There's all these new movies coming out, so I just don't see it as a movie I would return to or watch again, but that's just me. Make sure to comment down below and let me know how you feel, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I already said comment. Make sure you like and subscribe. As always, I hope you have a fabulous day, and bye.